Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is RemovableSanity, and today I'm reviewing Dead Island 2, developed by Dambuster Studios and published by PlayerUnknown. So what is Dead Island 2? Dead Island 2 is a first-person horror with RPG elements, dark humour and over-the-top zombie slaying adventure set after the original. The premise is that a deadly virus is spreading across Los Angeles, turning its inhabitants into ravenous zombies. The city is quarantined and the military have retreated. Bitten, infected, but more than just immune, you learn to harness the zombie inside of you. Only you and a handful of other swaggering slayers, who happen to be also resistant to the pathogen, hold the future of Los Angeles and humanity in the balance. The game boasts upgradable weapons, 6 charismatic slayers to choose from, co-op play for 3 players, and a brutal melee system. First up is accessibility. With regards to accessibility, there are options for subtitle sizes and their opacity. Objective marker and reticle sizes are also customizable, and the game includes hints and message logs for those who find the HUD a little hard to understand. There is no, however, button remapping, which would benefit those from motor issues. Next is gameplay. For those not familiar with Dead Island 2, it is the successor to Dead Island from 2011. During that time, it has gone through quite the development hell, with it originally being worked on by Techland, the first game's creators, and Dying Light developers. Then Jaeger Development took over, then Sumo Digital a few years later, before finally taken over by Dambuster Studios. I myself was an ardent fan of the original, so seeing the sequel finally hit the shelves was an anxious moment. Most reviewers will probably compare this to Dying Light 2. However, for me, I shall be comparing it to the original to showcase off the differences to those who have played that game. The game starts with a variety of characters making their way to a chartered plane ready to leave LA as the infection spreads. However, due to an incident on board, the plane crashes before leaving the area. It is at this point you get to choose your character from 6 slayers available. The original had 4, with one of them returning here as an NPC. Like the original game, each character has varying stats, with each maxing out one of them and low in others. The stats are toughness, stamina, health recovery, critical damage, agility, peak health, and resilience. From here, you make your way out of the crashed plane and are given a brief instruction on how to attack and defend before being let out in LA. Unlike the first game's open world island experience, here the developers have decided to go with 10 large hub areas to explore, with fast travel being added once you hit the halfway mark. The original open world island had a number of vehicles to get around, with zones locked off until you completed certain missions. Here, the game has no vehicles, but similarly, certain areas in the hub zones are locked off until specific missions are completed. From the beginning, this may seem as an odd choice, but actually this allows the developers to curate a much more tense and nerve-wracking experience. In the original Banoi Island, buildings was sparse, with just a clump of zombies added, with some more thrown here and there where travelling. In the new one, buildings are much more plentiful, even platformable, and once inside, a much more claustrophobic experience. Zombies here will regularly pounce out of locked doors, fall from ceiling vents, or even just run in from outside if they hear too much noise. Because of this, the game's world design relies on indirect routes that push you to backtrack, which in turn then allows you to open up quicker pathways. Fences will cause you to duck through. Boxes at the side of buildings will allow you to climb on the roof. All this in a bid to keep things fresh and exciting. Unlike the first game's buildings, here most are often explorable, rewarding you with great weapons, cash for upgrades, and other optional secrets. What is the same as the first game though is backtracking to do side missions or unlock new areas. Dead Island 2 has 40 plus side missions alongside its 24 main quests. The original had 103 side quests alongside its 48 main quests. Why the difference between the two? Well, this again I feel is due to the open world nature versus hub design. With an open world one, you need many more things to do to push you to explore the area, unlike a curated hub zone. This does highlight a difference though in the way both games treat levelling up. In the original, side quests were fixed danger levels from 1 to 6 skulls, with more being more dangerous. Dead Island 2 has a levelling up mechanic that levels every aspect of the game, including side missions. That way you cannot run around cheesing the early side quests with a better levelled character. The levels don't just influence where you're slaying zombies though, but what kinds of zombies you'll be slaying, and this help keeps you on your toes as you explore. The story does help push you to explore, but like the original, the cast and the main premise isn't going to wow anyone. It is a serviceable and coherent tale that also comes with a host of quirky and weird people who do crazy things to survive. And in that sense, it's true to its roots in my opinion. Speaking of character progression, both games again have different ways when it comes to skill and perks. The original had a pretty unique and in-depth character tree for each and every slayer, allowing you to choose which skill you wanted or even perk you wanted to upgrade specific to that character. In Dead Island 2, they've gone for a mix and match card slot system that, for me at least, doesn't just hit as engaging as the original did. These allow your chosen slayer to add various skills and perks, sometimes for free, sometimes at the detriment of other abilities. These range from defensive tactics such as dodges and slides to bonuses such as damage boosts for downing zombies or awarding health for severing undead limbs. Yes, you can tailor your character to suit your needs, but this doesn't really change enough depending on said slayer, unlike its original. Of course, the main chunk of the game is how you kill zombies and the homemade weapons you use on them. Thankfully here, like the original, weapon discovery and weapon modification are superb. Now, whilst you can find some great weapons with good stats by exploring, it's the modifications that sold people on the original. Like the original, you need to loot everything and find a weapon blueprint in order to modify it, and these can only be done at workbench locations dotted around the hub's areas. These blueprints will give weapons familiar but exciting status effects such as fire, acid and electricity, etc. But they will also provide your slayer with some unique buffs as well as increased toughness or health. However, unlike the original, once you hit the Pier Hub, you can unlock zombie destruction bonus modifications, which will need to collect zombie parts in order to construct. Now, guns are opened up to you at about a third of the way through the story, and like the original, are there to be used sparingly and more often than not as a last resort. Just like the weapons, you can modify your gun with fun and exciting effects, and can craft ammo. Again, like the original though, ammo has been limited and will quickly make the weapon ineffective if all is used. My favourite by far was my shotgun with an acid effect and a high crit rate. This beauty saved my bacon more times than I can remember. All weapons have a fixed level stat when you get them. However, the workbench, you can upgrade their levels and their stats of your favourite weapon should you wish, but it is expensive to do so. Now, you may be forgiven for thinking this is just Dead Island with some tweaks. However, its real secret sauce is the game's gore mechanic. The original had some dismemberment like legs or head, but nothing compared to its sequel. Every zombie has been modelled to be anatomically correct, which means if you want to gut a zombie, you can, and see all their innards fall out in very graphic detail. Smash a zombie with a sledgehammer and their skull will crumble away to reveal that bouncy brain. Or perhaps punching them in the face will mean their jaw will hang off. Cut into their head and an eye will pop out, or burn them with acid to see the skin, muscle and tissue dissolve in front of your very eyes. I have never seen this much effort to showcase off the brutality you can perform on these zombies, and it's superb. Fun-wise, I have been having a blast go through this world, and combine that with this enjoyable co-op, Dam Busters have done an exceptional job. Next up is graphics. The game's visuals are gorgeous and hold a steady frame rate with no pop-ins even in the most tense of situations. The streets of Hell A are wonderfully colourful, but it's the pier that takes this up a notch. The beach is as beautiful as it is deadly, and was a joy just to wander around exploring and destroying zombies in unique ways. Zombies also are plentiful and varied, with the first game's walkers, runners and shamblers making a familiar appearance. Of course, they also bring back the Hulk-like creatures, disorienting screamers and exploders to ensure you feel right at home. But to freshen things up, new zombie types are added, and the old ones reimagined with unique immunities, like electrified screamers who can't be killed with electricity. There is even a Zompedia which showcases off all that you have found in a glorious 3D model, and hints about how to kill said zombies, which unlock the more you kill that type. Another great option is that the developers knew backtracking would be needed, so to help this be less tedious, you can choose daytime or nighttime when travelling between hub areas. The nighttime doesn't change anything, but it definitely makes things more tense, not seeing what's right in front of you until it's right in your face. The HUD UI is clear and easy to read, and the crafting screen gives you all the information to choose what mods you want to install. Overall, I had no game-ending bugs, no issues with saves, and as mentioned previously, no lag or screen tearing. The only slowdown I had is exactly where the developers wanted, in those sweet explosions or headshot highlights that look very impressive when timed just right. Finally, sound. The game is 100% voiced, and the voice actors do a great job with their characters, regardless of the dialogue they have been given. Yes, there are more than enough cheesy lines, but strangely it works to the game's benefit rather than a hindrance.
Oh god, are they turning? Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
Music here is also well tuned to the environment, with big scores mostly situated to set battle pieces rather than the full selection as you play through the game. These vary from upbeat jazz sessions to full-on rock tracks. However, it's the ambient sounds, though, is where Dead Island 2 really hits it out of the park. Regardless of daytime or nighttime, even though the latter is more scarier, the groans and screams of nearby zombies will keep you looking behind when none exist. Add this to the beefy hit and slash sound mechanics going on, and it soon turns into a cacophony of bone splintering, torso crunching and skin peeling mixed with an upbeat vibe. Perfect. For me, the best way to enjoy this was lights off and a sound bar at full blast to enjoy the explosions and head popping while zombies scream at you in the background. And this leads me on to a rating of the game. Now I rate games in order of avoid, on sale, great purchase and must own. My rating for Dead Island 2 is a great purchase. If you enjoyed the first Dead Island or love first-person zombie games, this without a doubt is a worthy title to add to your collection. It brings back an old school fun over quantity approach that has been sorely lacking recently. Combine this with a more curated experience, this game feels like the one you would play when you just want to get away from the world. The game is currently priced on Xbox at £59.99 or approximately $70, and depending on your skill and patience would give you about 25 plus hours worth of gameplay. There is co-op and 5 other slayers to go back through, with enough hidden quests and content to add at least another 15 plus hours. In comparison to the first Dead Island, this sequel does everything right. It allows the fans of the original to be at least sated that the franchise, after so many issues, has come out endurably brutal and visceral. Yes, there are some choices I don't fully agree with, but I cannot complain. This isn't a fun and engaging experience. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I do hope you like this review, and if you do, please like, share and subscribe if you so wish. And if you would like to put some notes or even just a comment in the comment section, I do like reading them. Anyway, have a great time gaming, and I'll see you all again soon.